Tens of thousands of dreamers now facing an uncertain future. That after the White House announced it wants to end DACA. We will speak with two dreamers and they'll share their concerns. Then, day 2 of the corruption trial of Senator Bob Menendez. We'll take a look at the case against the New Jersey Democrat, some explosive exchanges in the courtroom, and also tell you where this may go from here. Also, Donald Trump Jr., he spoke with Senate investigators today about his meeting with the Russians. Well, a former federal prosecutor will join us to take a look at that and other new developments in the ongoing Russia probe. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to RFL. I'm Richard French, and thank you so much for joining us this Thursday evening. Now, we start with DACA and how the chaos over that program's uncertain future is impacting the dreamers. Now, let's remind you about some of the numbers here. 800,000 of them, they enrolled in DACA at the then administration's urging. There are perhaps 2 million people in this country who also fit that description. 42,000 of them New Yorkers, 22,000 living in New Jersey, so go the estimates. And as many as 900 of them, by the way, serve in our military as we speak. Now, the whole program's in turmoil. Lawsuits from blue states, by and large, trying to keep it in place. Threatening lawsuits from red states, they want to get rid of it. And now Congress is kicking around that political football after the president punted it to lawmakers. But this, it has real implications for real people. And tonight, what we wanted to do was, instead of hearing from the lawmakers or people agitated on either side of it, let's hear from the people directly impacted. Let's bring them in now. Andrea Alarcon, she's a dreamer from Ecuador who was brought to the U.S. when she was just 5 years old. Lizzie Contreras Giron, she was born in Guatemala and came here when she was also 5. First of all, hopefully I didn't butcher those pronunciations, but let's try and describe it for both of you. And Lizzie, I'll start with you. I assume when you were 5, you didn't say, hey guys, let's head over to the States. The decision in many ways was made for you, wasn't it?
Correct, yes. And for, I think, a lot of DACA recipients like myself, you're not even aware of the situation until later on in your life when the implications of it start affecting you. So for me, it was probably later on in high school when I was getting ready to go to college and getting ready to take the next step in life.
And the same thing, Andrea, we're hearing stories where kids learn, they don't even realize, some kids come here as infants, that they're not citizens until it comes time, and when they're applying for college or they're applying for things that we just take for granted, that they all of a sudden they learn, wait a minute, I wasn't born in the States, let alone speaking the native language from wherever country they came from or even finding it on a map.
Right, so I came from Ecuador in 1998, and I was 5 years old, like you mentioned, and I didn't know that I was undocumented until my older sister, she's 3 years older than me, until she had to apply for college. And so she kind of broke that that news to me, and it was very difficult to see her go through that process of not being able to find financial help for her schooling. Fortunately, she got a full ride to Hunter, so that was great. But that was my first encounter with my status.
Now, both of you, under the previous administration, when they said, okay, we're going to set up this program, voluntarily come forward, you literally got to meet the president, albeit for different reasons, for being a high academic performer. Talk about for a minute what it was like the day that, in effect, the Obama administration said, we're recognizing you guys as a population, we're creating a pathway here to be Americans, we're treating you guys as a special class, you came here as children, this wasn't your choice, you're dreamers here, and in fact, you're going to become Americans. And the choices that you made as a consequence of that and the information you turned over.
When the program was announced and we were asked to come out of the shadows, it became very easy decision for me to decide, okay, I have to give this information over, but I'm trusting in the administration, I'm trusting in the government that this is going to be for my benefit. So with that being said, we did give this information over in hopes that the benefits of the decision would be greater than any of the potential harms. As far as everything that's it's allowed me to do I regret giving this information? No. because it has only helped me be able to achieve everything that I have, and it has helped me live a more secure everyday life. Even simple things, like you said, that sometimes people take for granted, like driving, things like that. It has made it more accessible for me to be able to do those things.
There's a perception out there among some that you guys are getting a free ride here. You came in the country illegally and that it's handed to you. But in effect, you have to pass background checks. And it incentivizes, as I've seen, not just with you two, but with so many, to be contributing members to this society, that you in effect give more than you get. If at the end of the day you become an American. Explain a little bit about some of the misinformation and some of the reality about being a dreamer.
Okay, so we are teachers, community organizers, farm educators, lawyers contributing to this community, and there are no taxpayers' dollars going into this program. We pay for our own application fee, we pay taxes because we are able to work on payroll. Like you said, we are giving more than we are getting.
So you're both involved, obviously, in politics as well. You've interned for lawmakers in New York. So when the administration, the current administration, came down with their decision, and then you see this limbo that's out there, describe a little bit what's going through your head. Are you worried right now? Are you confident that at the end of the day this will sort out? I've heard some people are worried not just about their own futures, but also about their families. And where it starts, where it ends, talks about walls, deportations. So peel it back a little bit, and I'll start with you, Liz, and then the same question for you. What's going through your head this week?
So, the questions that I asked myself 3 days ago were not the same questions that I was thinking about a couple days earlier. Definitely a lot of questions running through my mind. I'm very grateful to have been able to work for different political leaders in New York, and they've expressed their support for me moving forward. I know that Senator Gillibrand, has said, I stand with the Dreamers. I will do what I have to do to support, and I know that my job currently will not be jeopardized at Attorney General Schneiderman's office. So that brings some type of comfort. However, just because I'm okay, doesn't mean that my family is safe from anything. And I don't mean okay in the sense that, I'm immune to deportation. I mean okay in the sense that I have a support system and I'm able to defend myself better. However, I feel that it is necessary of me to come out and speak for those who can't. So I've put myself in the positions where I expose myself and I expose my family in order to be able to help all those 798,000 others that can't.
And to the same question, was it a difficult choice, Andrea, to decide to come public here?
Well, same as Liz D, I feel a moral obligation to come out and express my story and express my feelings about this, because I have colleagues, family members, and friends that are DACA recipients that will not come out and share their story. And I feel that my me being vocal about my situation will bring light to the realities of Dreamers' situations and debunk possible myths. I think I speak for both of us when I say that whatever obstacles come our way, we are strong and we will fight. And
I think I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When somebody says, what are you, do either of you say I'm Ecuadorian or Guatemalan, or do you say I'm American?
That's a good question.
you go
I
first,
always
then.
say Guatemalan born, American raised, because I was born in Guatemala, but this country has shaped me and my identity. This country has cultivated who I am, and this is all I've known. This is the country I call home every day. So realistically, for me to say that, going home to a country that I don't know, yes, I would be upset, but I would be even more upset to know that the country that I love wouldn't love me enough to have me stay here.
Very similar for me. When people ask me, oh, where are you from? What's your nationality? Like, where are you from? What's your background? I'm 24 years old now. I've been here in this country for 19 years, kindergarten through college. And so I consider myself more American than I do Ecuadorian because, quite frankly, I'm not familiar with the culture. I can't connect with my family like I want to. And it wasn't necessarily my choice, but I am grateful to be here. And like Lizzie and I, we take every opportunity that comes our way by the horns. We take every opportunity because we understand the sacrifices that our parents made coming to the United States and providing this path of opportunity. And so every day I think, well, how can I make them proud? How can I make their sacrifices worthwhile? And so oftentimes you see dreamers being the leaders of their profession, going above and beyond because of that background of sacrifice.
We'll see how this turns out, but I will say this much. It took a lot of guts to come forward, and hopefully if anyone wasn't sure how they felt about this issue, now seeing both of you and hearing your stories, I think you've made an impression. Thank you.
Can I just add one thing?
Absolutely.
I just want to say, you know, with us choosing to come out, it's because we're proud. We're proud of the decision that our parents made. We're proud of the jobs they hold to sustain our families, and we're proud of who we are. You know, being DACA as we're identified, it's not just being DACA. It's being our parents' sacrifices. It's being our parents' struggle. It's being, you know, our struggle, our sacrifices, and our successes. Everything that we are is because of that. So I would never be ashamed to say I'm undocumented and I'm currently a DACA recipient because it has made me who I am, and I'm proud of who I am.
Thank you, guys. And if you are a dreamer and you would like to share your story with us, please email us at rfl@rnntv.com. You can also post your story on our Facebook page. That's Facebook.com/Richard French Live. And we look forward to hearing from you. And you could also see your story right on this very program tomorrow evening. Thank you again to our guests. Coming up next, we'll be back at the federal courthouse in Newark. It's day 2 of Senator Menendez's corruption trial. We'll take a look at the very definition of corruption with our panel, including a former congressman, and whether or not prosecutors have a case against New Jersey Democrats. Stay with us.